Gender Studies by Joey, Shayna, Jesse, and Edward.
Gender studies explores the issues of sexuality, power, and marginalized people in literature and society. Gender studies also looks at the ways in which gender and sexual preference is discussed.
Non-Binary Blues by Elliot McIntosh. It's not easy to explain, or maybe it's easy, but I just don't know the right words. Or maybe I have the right words, but you just don't know what the words mean. Anyway, I have trouble trying to explain what it feels like, because it's something I do know. It's there, it's specific, I can feel it, but I don't know if we really have words yet to tell you what it feels like. It's like trying to explain the color of a sky to someone who is colorblind. How do you explain what it's like if you don't experience it the same way I do? I don't know. All I can do is try. I can tell you what it isn't. It isn't strict, rigid. It isn't pink or she or young lady or dresses and makeup and the suffocating dysphoria that comes with those things. Living most of your life in a shirt that doesn't fit isn't as bad, at first, when you are smaller, but as you grow, it begins to hurt. But it isn't a boy either. That would be better. But the idea of having to conform, of having to pretend that I was he, seems just as difficult. I think I would feel just as suffocated. My gender is space. It is a nebula made up of thousands of colors, some that we can't even see, and galaxies that are so big we don't quite know how to measure them, and a supernova lighting up the sky, and the fact that we are thousands of years away from the stars and constellations that my brother taught me the names to, and stars and planets and black holes and expansion and asteroids. My gender is the color red. It's the stop signs that are perfect octagons, and tomato sauce on spaghetti. It's ladybugs that wish you good luck, and checkered tablecloths during picnics. It is alphabet blocks and worn covers of books. Red is a surprise. My gender is rain. It is looking through the car window and everything is blurry. It is puddles that seem as big as oceans, and rain boots lined up outside the door, and umbrellas floating off in the wind, and the camaraderie on the sidewalk, because all of you have to walk through the drops. My gender is me. I don't know how else I can explain it but that.
Feminism is a movement that seeks the equal treatment of women in society. Throughout history, the meaning of feminism has been associated with many different movements during the 19th and 20th centuries.
Gender Studies challenges the differences between the masculine and the feminine. For example, words such as sun and moon, active and passive, and father and mother. Gender Studies claims that these pairs are each in a hierarchy where the one term represents masculinity and the other term represents femininity.
Gender studies has had many bright minds contribute to it. One of these bright minds include Judith Butler. She believes that masculine and feminine roles are not biologically fixed but socially constructed.
Gender Studies is rooted from queer studies, which is then rooted from feminist studies.
The postmodern movement was a social movement that people began questioning everything that was around them. Specifically, in postmodernism, people questioned the normalities of everyday life and why we need to do what we do. It also caused many to go against past assumptions of gender.
Gender Studies has changed drastically since its inception. At first, Gender Studies was focused on the equal treatment of sexes. Since then, the field of Gender Studies has incorporated a broader and more diverse idea of gender.
Gender studies was not easily accepted since it became a field of study. For example, Rosie Braiotti has criticized gender studies as the takeover of the feminist agenda.